Assalamu alaikum. Today's statement is titled, Khalid came back to taste the evil consequences of his deeds. The statement was written by the awaited Imam Mahdi, Nasser Mohammed Al-Yamani, on the 2nd of June 2022, and it will be recited to you by one of his supporters. In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful, and prayers that forgiveness and peace be upon the messenger of Allah, Muhammad, and whoever followed him diligently till the day of judgment. Allah the Exalted said, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, وَالَّذِينَ سَعُوا فِي آيَاتِنَا مُعَاجِزِينَ أُولَئِكَ لَهُمْ عَذَابٌ مِّن رِجْزٍ أَلِيمٍ وَيَرَى الَّذِينَ أُوتُوا الْعِلْمَ الَّذِي أُنزِلَ إِلَيْكَ مِنْ رَبِّكَ هُوَ الْحَقُّ وَيَهْدِي إِلَى الصِّرَاطِ الْعَزِيزِ الْحَمِيدِ صدق الله العظيم. But those who strive against our signs, seeking to cause failure for them, will be a painful torment of partners. And those who have received knowledge, see that what was sent down to you from your Lord is the truth, and guides to the path of the Almighty, the Praiseworthy. Chapter 34, verse 5 to 6. Also Allah the Exalted said, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, أَوَأَمَنَ أَهْلُ الْقُرَىٰ أَنْ يَأْتِيهُمْ بَأْسُنَا ضُحًى وَهُمْ يَلْعَبُونَ أَفَأَمِنُوا مَكْرَ اللَّهِ فَلَا يَأْمَنُ مَكْرَ اللَّهِ إِلَّا الْقَوْمُ الْخَاسِرُونَ أَوَلَمْ يَهْدِ لِلَّذِينَ يَرِثُونَ الْأَرْضَ مِنْ بَعْدِ أَهْلِهَا أَنْ لَوْ نَشَاءُ أَصَبْنَاهُمْ بِذُنُوبِهِمْ وَنَطْبَعُ عَلَى قُلُوبِهِمْ فَهُمْ لَا يَسْمَعُونَ صدق الله العظيم. Do the people of these towns feel secure that our punishment will not come upon them by day while they are at play? Do they feel secure from Allah's plan? No one feels secure from Allah's plan except the people who are losers. Is it not clear to those who inherit the land from former generations that we can punish them too for their sins if we will, and seal up their hearts so that they cannot hear? Chapter 7, verses 98 to 100. And Allah the Exalted said, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, وَمَا لَهُمْ أَلَّا يُعَذِّبُهُمُ اللَّهُ وَهُمْ يَصُدُّونَ عَنِ الْمَسْجِدِ الْحَرَامِ وَمَا كَانُوا أَوْلِيَاءَهُ إِنَّ أَوْلِيَاءَهُ إِلَّا الْمُتَّقُونَ وَلَكِنَّ أَكْثَرَهُمْ لَا يَعْلَمُونَ وَمَا كَانَ صَلَاتُهُمْ عِنْدَ الْبَيْتِ إِلَّا مُكَاءً وَتَصْدِيَةً فَذُوقُوا الْعَذَابَ بِمَا كُنْتُمْ تَكْفُرُونَ صدق الله العظيم. But why should Allah not punish them while they debar people from Al-Masjid al-Haram and they were not its guardians? Its guardians are not but the righteous, but most of them do not know. Their prayer at the sacred house was nothing but whistling and clapping. So taste the torment for your disbelief. Chapter 8, verses 34 to 35. O truth seekers among the words, I had already advised Al-Salman bin Abdul Aziz and on top of them Deputy Crown Prince Khalid bin Salman to submit to Allah's fate and destiny of the death of King Salman and the clinical death of Mohammed bin Salman owing to the COVID of death, to be a lesson and example for those around him and decision makers among the whole world. And I said, O Al-Salman, and on top of you, Khalid bin Salman, cease your fabrications and series of acting to turn people away from the edifying signs for you and other than you through taking a lesson from what happened to the Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman after the challenge. Because of imprisoning the supporters of Imam Mahdi Nasser Mohammed Al-Yamani in KSA. And I have already given you a ruling with the truth that Allah had stricken down Mohammed bin Salman in a blink of an eye or even sooner with the COVID of no escape from death. However, Deputy Crown Prince Khalid bin Salman bin Abdul Aziz did not take warning, although he thought that the date of the summit for the Gulf leaders is approaching, while the Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman did not wake up from the coma of the agonies of clinical death. Then the Saudi Deputy Crown Prince Khalid bin Salman decided to silently rule Saudi Arabia from abroad to be safe, provided that the episodes of the acting shows that impersonate King Salman and his Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman are debunked, if the Crown Prince does not wake up before the meeting of the leaders of the Gulf Summit for this year, 2022. But more and more of Al Saud are going to wind up dead by orders in the name of the dead, the king and his crown prince, and their orders will be carried out as they think that it is their orders, while the truth is Khalid bin Salman ruled from outside the kingdom. However, the plan of announcing his flee strongly incited his arrogance, so he came back in stubbornness to undergo his fate, which is the same as his fathers and brothers, due to the continuity of the global series of turning people away. How many times did I try to save him and his brothers and advise them to submit to the fate and destiny of Allah and to appoint Prince Mecca bin Abdullah bin Abdul Aziz as King of Saudi Arabia according to the order of Allah's Caliph Al-Mahdi Nasser Muhammad Al-Yamani if they know that Nasser Muhammad Al-Yamani is truly truthful? O Arabs, non-Arabs, and truth seekers around the world, be witnesses against Deputy Crown Prince Khalid Bin Salman, waiting for the judgment of Allah in his matter and those of his like, because he turned people away from believing the truth on purpose, after guidance from their Lord had been clear to them, and after signs of verification that are to be taken as a lesson and example from their Lord had become pellucid to them. O Al Abdul Aziz bin Saud in particular, and Al Saud in general, if Allah supported the signs of verification that are to be taken as a lesson and example, with the third one, who is Khalid bin Salman, the third man in command in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, would he cause you in a remembrance, then you submit to Allah's fate and destiny, thus you carry out the command of Allah and His Caliph? O arrogant ones among you shall act in oddness, then one single shout from which there is no recovery shall take you, like what Allah did to the king and his crown prince, the Hinduer Mohammed bin Salman. So beware of the plan of Allah, in line with the word of Allah the Exalted. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. وَمَا يَنْظُرُ هَؤُلَاءِ إِلَّا صَيْحَةً وَاحِدَةً مَا لَهَا مِنْ فَوَاقٍ صَدَقَ اللَّهُ الْعَظِيمُ. For these await nothing but a single shout, from which there is no recovery. Chapter 38, verse 15. How come Khalid did not take warning of what happened to his father and brother while he knows with knowledge of certainty that Nasser Muhammad Al-Yamani is truthful? Rather, Khalid bin Salman is the supervisor of the acting shows that perhaps Mohammed bin Salman wakes up from clinical death. But Khalid bin Salman is aware of the statements of the challenge with the truth between Allah's Caliph Al-Mahdi, Nasser Muhammad Al-Yamani, and Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman for imprisoning my male and female Saudi supporters in KSA. And I warn him that his majesty and superiority on earth shall not benefit him until Allah seizes him with a terrible seizing. So how does Khalid bin Salman feel safe from the plan of Allah, knowing of the signs of verification of Allah's Caliph Al-Mahdi Nasser Muhammad Al-Yamani? Lo and behold, O Arabs and non-Arabs, who feel secure from the plan of Allah after guidance had been clear to them, but their own selves were certain of the signs of verification. So how do they act arrogantly towards Allah's Caliph Al-Mahdi Nasser Muhammad Al-Yamani? Who could Nasser Muhammad Al-Yamani be but a human like you? But the greatest calamity is acting oddly towards the command of Allah, who made me his Caliph on the whole world. And I repeat the news from Allah, the one the overpowering, that He made me His Caliph on the whole world. So what is the worth of the dominion of Yemen, Saudi Arabia, and the Arabian Peninsula comparing to the worth of the dominion of the whole world? Don't you reason, O Arab and non-Arab leaders? Anyway, I'm not sure if Allah would give Khalid bin Salman time to read this statement of mine, as the decree of Allah with His words of power might befall him before he does. And that is because he is one of those who feel secure from the plan of Allah, and no one feels secure from it except for the unjust ones, and the whole matter rests with Allah before and after. And I swear by Allah that I regret what is going to happen for my purpose in the self of my Lord. On the other hand, I cannot ask forgiveness for the adamantly arrogant, while he knows that Nasser Muhammad Al-Yamani is truthful, and Khalid bin Salman saw the verifying signs with his very own eyes manifested in his father and brother Mohammed bin Salman, but still did not take warning. How many times did I advise Al-Salman after the death of the king and his crown prince, Mohammed bin Salman, to be honest with Allah and themselves, and if Nasser Muhammad Al-Yamani were a liar, it would be so easy to expose his lies soon after Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman appears in a live and audiovisual broadcast, where he speaks in a speech addressing a new topic that took place after February the 3rd, 2022. And I know with knowledge of certainty that King Salman and his crown prince Mohammed bin Salman will never speak live and audiovisually in Saudi television about new topics as the Saudi people are used to. As how would dead ones speak? Certainly, far is that from happening. And it is time for challenging the new challenger, Khalid bin Salman, that the plan of Allah shall be averted from him because he strives in every possible way to turn people away from believing the signs of those made to be a lesson and example in the series of the shows performed by those of the masked faces that are realistic in terms of resembling the owner of the picture. In the series of the great global hindering of no audio speeches to be heard by the words, in order to be not exposed under the supervision of Khalid bin Salman. To explain, he is the supervisor and director of the show of the impersonators of King Salman and his crown prince Mohammed bin Salman, and concealing the truth of the signs of verification from the words, even though he knows that lying has short legs and he has been deceived by his intelligence and thinking, and inevitably he will undergo his fate, which is the same fate of his brother, regardless he is in Saudi Arabia or abroad. He will never be able to escape from Allah, and that is the punishment of whoever does not take warning and disobey the command of Allah and His Caliph. O decision makers on the thrones of all Arab and non-Arab Islamic countries, I command you to issue an order of an emergency summit to be held in the Hashemite kingdom of Jordan to take the unanimous decision of Arab and Islamic decision makers to announce the departure into battle to defend Al-Aqsa Mosque and its surroundings of the blessed land in Palestine because of Allah's argument against you, which is the fact that He empowered you on the earth in line with the word of Allah the Exalted.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أذن للذين يقاتلون بأنهم ظلموا وإن الله على نصرهم لقدير.
الذين أخرجوا من ديارهم بغير حق إلا أن يقولوا ربنا الله ولولا دفع الله الناس بعضهم ببعض لهدم الصوامع وبيع وصلوات ومساجد يذكر فيها اسم الله كثيرا ولينصرن الله من ينصره إن الله لقوي عزيز. الذين إن مكناهم في الأرض أقاموا الصلاة وآتوا الزكاة وأمروا بالمعروف ونهوا عن المنكر ولله عاقبة الأمور. صدق الله العظيم. To those against whom war is made, permission is given to fight because they are wronged, and verily Allah is most powerful for their aid. Those who have been driven from their homes unjustly only because they said our Lord is Allah, for had it not been for Allah's repelling some men by means of others, cloisters and churches and oratories and mosques wherein the name of Allah is often mentioned would assuredly have been pulled down. Verily, Allah helps one who helps him. Lo, Allah is strong, almighty. And they are those who, if we give them authority in the land, establish prayer and give zakah and enjoin what is right and forbid what is wrong. And to Allah belongs the outcome of all matters. Chapter 22, verse 39 to 41. You are blamed by the Lord of the words for not defending your land, peoples, and sanctuaries. And if you do not defend them immediately, I swear by Allah the Great that Allah will painfully torment you. Thus He takes revenge on the wrongdoers and their lies in the words, those who are silent in the face of injustice, and the enemies of Allah, whatever they are in the words. Then Allah empowers His Caliph on the whole world, defeats parties on His own, and perfects His light with His servants as per what He likes and pleases, even to the dismay of disbelievers. O people of Palestine, you are very much envied by those who have fervor for Allah and His sanctuaries, so you have no choice but to fight in the cause of Allah to defend yourselves, your sanctuaries, your land, your homes, and your money. And do not fight whoever does not fight you of the peaceful ones among Jews, those who want to be safe from the evil of you and their own people, because Allah has opened no way for you against them, but has opened a way for you against those who fight against you of the allies of Satan, who hate what Allah has revealed and His pleasure, after the way of the truth have been clear to them, for you to be with them in hellfire. In line with the word of Allah the Exalted, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, ودوا لو تكفرون كما كفروا فتكونون سواء فلا تتخذوا منهم أولياء حتى يهاجروا في سبيل الله فإن تولوا فخذوهم واقتلوهم حيث وجدتموهم ولا تتخذوا منهم وليا ولا نصيرا إلا الذين يصلون إلى قوم بينكم وبينهم ميثاق أو جاءوكم حصرت صدورهم أن يقاتلوكم أو يقاتلوا قومهم ولو شاء الله لسلطهم عليكم فلقاتلوكم فإن اعتزلوكم فلم يقاتلوكم وألقوا إليكم السلم فما جعل الله لكم عليهم سبيلا ستجدون آخرين يريدون أن يأمنوكم ويأمنوا قومهم كلما ردوا إلى الفتنة أركسوا فيها فإن لم يعتزلوكم ويلقوا إليكم السلم ويكفوا أيديهم فخذوهم واقتلوهم حيث ثقفتموهم وأولئكم جعلنا لكم عليهم سلطانا مبينا صدق الله العظيم.
They wish you would disbelieve as they have disbelieved, so you may be all alike. So do not take them as allies unless they emigrate in the cause of Allah. But if they turn away, then seize them and kill them wherever you find them. And do not take any of them as allies or helpers.
Except those who join a group between whom and you there is a treaty, or who come to you with their hearts feeling discomfort in fighting, either against you or against their own people. If Allah had so willed, He would have given them power over you, then they would have fought you. So if they stay away from you and do not fight you and offer you peace, then Allah has not given you any authority against them. You will find others who wish to be safe from you and from their own people, but whenever they are back in a situation where they attempt to fight you, they succumb to it. So if they neither withdraw nor offer you peace nor restrain themselves from fighting you, seize and kill them wherever you encounter them. We give you clear authority against such people. Chapter 4, verses 89 to 91. That is the way of Allah in jihad among those who were before you. Indeed, Allah does not like transgressors who cause corruption in the land, those who wrong people without any right, and know with knowledge of certainty that the enemies of Allah, the Lord of the world, the allies of Satan, want to demolish Al-Masjid Al-Aqsa and your homes and loot your money. And your Christian allies, who hate their aggression and who are the nearest in affection to the Muslims, are among their plot as per my warning to you before. Verily, Allah will help those who stand up for Him, for He is truly all-powerful, almighty, and capable of vengeance. O people of Gaza, are you still the allies of Allah? So march forth for jihad in the cause of Allah, and beware of staying in defensive positions only, as this is defeat, but rush and attack towards the positions of the aggressors, and soon enough they will flee, leaving their heavy weapons to you, their equipment and ammunition. So do not die cowards, but die as martyrs, and do not wish to be martyrs in the cause of Allah, as you shall quickly get it, and do not be keen on living and wish for victory and survival for the sake of Allah, and know that no soul can ever die except by Allah's leave and at a term appointed. So fear Allah, O people of understanding minds. Torment is very close to the most evil creatures that do not reason. Sufficient is Allah to deal with those who cause corruption on earth, shed blood, those who unjustly transgress against people, no matter where they are in the words. Indeed, Allah is encompassing of the wrongdoers. Allah does not like corruption and injustice of people towards one another, and He will support whoever supports Him. Indeed, He never breaks His promise. Peace be upon the messengers, and all praises due to Allah, the Lord of the world. Allah's caliph and servant, Imam Mahdi, Nasser, Mohammed, Al-Yamani.